Aloha, my name is Jennifer Conway, and I will be discussing today my project titled Creating Poli, which is a prenatal breastfeeding support class for Waimanalo Health Center. Just for a brief background on the health center itself, I listed the mission and values here and a brief timeline of the health center itself. This is relevant because the health center is the base for where the project will occur. So for a background on the project, of course, numerous research studies and just scientific evidence points to the fact that breastfeeding is the optimal nutrition and the most optimal for babies and mothers to support healthy growth and development. So we know it to be true that it's nutritious, cost-effective, and vital for the health of both mother and child in the short and long term. And some of the breastfeeding data and rates using different surveillance systems points to the fact that providers and community groups should be aware of the fact that just over 1/3 of mothers breastfeed exclusively for 8 weeks, with lower rates among Asian, Native Hawaiian, and other Pacific Islanders and Black mothers. Breastfeeding is a strong part of Hawaiian culture, especially, and it's integrated into numerous different areas of their culture, such as in the Aina, which also means land, and then the Ieve, which means placenta, where they practice one cultural practice of burying that placenta. And then there's numerous stigmas associated with breastfeeding, and so this project tries to tackle some of those and create more avenues for success for mothers, and to break down some of the barriers associated with the stigmas for breastfeeding. The social determinants of health are also a consideration here, where research shows that racialized experiences sometimes affect breastfeeding goals. So historically, we see predatory marketing for infant formulas, and then this might still play a role into how minorities make a decision to feed their baby today. And then the same research is also shown an association between the experience of racism and discrimination in the job setting and lowering the odds of breastfeeding for the goal of 6 months or longer. Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander ethnic groups also have lower initiation and duration of breastfeeding, and this is significantly lower than other racial subgroups. This is especially alarming as Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander groups have higher rates of obesity and therefore higher rates of obesity-related comorbidities. So the purpose behind the project is to identify what the community really needs. So we made a long look at previous programs that maybe were successful, and some different studies that point to the need for prenatal classes. And I listed theirs there, and there's one local one with KKV where they have a cultural birthing class. So the Surgeon General had a call to action encouraging all clinicians and healthcare professionals to support breastfeeding. And then so the goals for this project are to increase rates of breastfeeding in Hawaii, celebrate Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander birthing cultures, and improve birth preparedness. The theoretical foundation behind the project includes those previous programs I mentioned earlier, and then encouraging efficacy, agency, and empowerment for all hapai, which means pregnant mothers, increasing social support, so that could mean their partners or other ohana family groups that might help support them, identifying the social determinants of health, and then creating a rebirth of Poli, and Poli also means the breast food in Hawaiian. So the program design, we have multiple facilitators that would be involved in this project. So that would be the health center staff, Native Hawaiian birth keepers, doulas, educators, midwives, registered dietitians, nurses, and other lactation professionals. The target audience are, of course, hapai, which means pregnant participants, their partners, and any support person. Class format is in-person or virtual, 2-hour-long classes, 1 time per week for 6 weeks for the whole class. And we'll go over the modules next. But the reason for the in-person or virtual is just to provide better access for people that maybe won't have access otherwise. So here are the program curriculum topics. So as you can see there, there's 6 different topics, and we'll go through all of them within the program itself. And then the program implementation is important for promotion. There's referral systems, support environment where the partner's role actually has a very important place in the process, and we would like to include them in the process. Overall experience with open discussions and help high mothers receive help to perpetuate cultural birthing practices, feel more confident, and meet their breastfeeding goals. The evaluation plan used the internal assessment that would be done prior to the project, a logic model, pre and post surveys, what are we doing right, what can be improved. The breastfeeding motivation score, which is validated measures, measuring maybe like what mom is feeling before or after pregnancy, or before or after prenatal classes. So improving program accessibility is also an area to look for. Are we allowing all moms to participate? Opening it for everyone, that sort of thing. And then success for the program itself. So we're always looking for funding, and so an area that might be important here is increasing funding. So what are the implications to the community? It has historical and cultural implications, as well as in other Pacific cultures. We look at other successful programs. We look at reducing stigmas, and of course, future funding. So I hope that I was able to show some of the areas that I met competencies. These are some of the groups, and just in the interest of time, I just listed them here, but and then in conclusion, breastfeeding is part of Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander culture, and there is an undeniable need for a culturally appropriate prenatal breastfeeding class, and breastfeeding decreases overall healthcare costs. The ultimate goal is to make breastfeeding the cultural norm. And here's a list of my citations.